Welcome to the Jaguar Podcast, a show where we discuss all things related to Duval County's finest NFL football team, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Move 42, set, what?
Duval, baby! Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Andrew, and coming back at you with another episode of the Jaguar Podcast. In this episode, I'm going to be discussing whether the Jags should draft Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields, the infamous question that's on everybody's mind. But before we jump into it, show your boys some love and support. Hit that red subscribe button if you want to support the channel, and hit that bell icon if you want updates on the latest content. All right, so jumping into it, Trevor Lawrence. I'm going to go through the positives and the negatives about these two quarterbacks. With Trevor Lawrence, the guy's an incredible quarterback. He has really good physical traits. He's 6'6", 220 pounds, so he's tall. He can see over the offensive line. That's going to help him. It's going to help his vision. It's going to help him when he's making his reads and his progressions. So that's really good. He's got a great arm, quick release, puts a lot of zip on the ball. So he's got really good mechanics, and that's really going to help him when he gets into the NFL because he's going to have to make some tight throws. He's going to have to get rid of the ball fast. He's going to have to make some of those throws like Roethlisberger makes, right, where he can get rid of the ball in 3 seconds. That's what Trevor Lawrence is going to have to do. He throws really well on the run, too. He can throw off of his back foot and just make those pro throws, which is really good. He's got great footwork as well, and he can run, and that's also a help. I don't think he's a running quarterback per se, but he can run, and he can be mobile if he needs to and get out of the pocket, which is good. Looking at his stats, he has a 66.6% completion rating, 758 attempts, 758 completions out of 1,138 attempts. He's got 90 touchdowns and 10,098 yards passing, 17 picks. So I think this guy is really going to be suitable for the spread offense or like a West Coast offense. I don't see him really being in that kind of like RPO style offense or like a run and gun offense. Like Lamar Jackson is in over in Baltimore, but he's got a lot of great traits. But some of the negatives I saw were that like when he's under pressure, he kind of crumbles in the pocket. I saw that a lot in the Ohio State Clemson game. When you get pressure on Lawrence, he tends to have problems, hanging in there, making the throws, taking a hit. So he's going to see a lot of that in the NFL, especially if he gets drafted by Jacksonville and we don't invest in an offensive line. It's going to be tough for him. So he's got to get better at that. That's really one of the main negative things that I saw about Trevor Lawrence. One other negative is that some of his reads, like I think he's always had a good team. He's always had a good offensive line, but, it's just going to be a different ball game. The game's a lot faster in the NFL. So I think he's going to have some struggles in the beginning with reading defense, but I think that's something that he'll pick up. So it's really not that big of a deal. And that's really it. I mean, I think Trevor Lawrence is an awesome quarterback and definitely somebody that I would draft if I was the GM of the Jaguars. I think could be potentially the quarterback for the future or be a franchise quarterback, but I don't think we should draft somebody that's like, a run and gun guy. I wouldn't draft Justin Fields, but I'll get into him in just a second. So we move on to Justin Fields. The positive, he has great agility, great footwork. He's a big quarterback. He's 227. He's 6'3", and he's played in both the SEC and the Big Ten conferences. He played for Georgia, and then he transferred from Georgia, went to Ohio State, and he's just really elusive. He can read defense. He's quick, and he can take a hit. He definitely took a hit in that game against Clemson. He took some hits. He got hurt and he came back in the game, so that's great. That he is strong and he's not afraid to take a hit. He's got a lot of poise in the pocket, as opposed to Trevor Lawrence. So that was really something, really like a differentiator there. Looking at his stats, 396 completions out of 579 attempts. So he's got a 68.4 completion rating, 5,393 yards, and 63 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Now, he has less interceptions than Trevor Lawrence, who I believe had 17. But we have to remember, right, Justin Fields did not play his entire freshman year at Georgia. He transferred, so I think that's why some of his numbers are better. But, some of the negative about Justin Fields is his height. He's not as high, he's not as tall, rather, as Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is 6'6". Justin Fields is only 6'3", so he may have some challenges seeing over the line, dealing with some of those, taller defensive linemen getting hands in his face. I don't think it'll be that big of an issue, but, could be. His arm strength and mechanics, I think, are kind of lacking. He kind of airmails the ball. He throws kind of like these kind of like arcing passes. There could be easily picked off in the NFL. So that's, something I don't really like about his mechanics and his arm strength. But I think in the NFL, that's something that you can improve. It was an issue for Gardner Minshew, and he definitely improved on his arm strength and accuracy. Ball security is an issue too. I saw a lot of film where Justin Fields was fumbling the ball. So that's an issue, but it can get better with time. So at the end of the day, I would draft Trevor Lawrence, because I think for longevity and being that franchise guy, I think he's definitely the one. Do I think in reality that's going to happen? It's up for debate. I think that given, the coaching staff that has just come in with, Darrell Bevell, the offensive coordinator, he tends to run, offenses that are focused more towards running. He did mentor Russell Wilson when he was over at Seattle, and Urban Meyer, given his history as well with Florida, likes to run that RPO run and gun type of offense. So if anything, I think Justin Fields would be that guy for them. He kind of fits best with the types of offenses that they've run in the past. And, Justin Fields really reminds me of Russell Wilson. Obviously he's a little bit bigger. Russell Wilson, I think, is only 5'11". Justin Fields is 6'3", but they have a lot of the same characteristics and skills. They both can get out of the pocket. They both have decent arms. They both can, run really well. And that's who I think, based on the history of Urban Meyer and Darrell Bevell, I think that's who they could potentially draft. I think it's very probable, very likely. So we could be surprised in this draft, but I think Trevor Lawrence is the better pick, just based on, his physical traits. He puts more zip on the ball than Justin Fields, and he's going to be that pocket passer, that quarterback for the future. But I think a lot depends on the style of offense that Urban Meyer and Darrell Bevell decide to implement. So I'm giving you kind of the consultant answer. It depends. It really does. So, I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you who they're going to draft, but I think it's very probable that Justin Fields could get drafted, could surprise us all. But let me know how you feel about this debate, whether Trevor Lawrence is better than Justin Fields and who they should draft, the Jags rather. Leave me a comment on the YouTube video or podcast episode. Subscribe to the channel. come by my Apple Podcast, leave me a review. I say that a lot, but it does help me. And if you do, shoot me a message. Let me know when you left the review or if you left it, and I will send you over a complimentary Jaguar Podcast t-shirt or face cover of your choice. Stay safe, stay sane, stay healthy. Go Jags, and I'll see you next time.
Let me get that. JYD coming up with the big sack. Quarterbacks beware, we on the prowl. Game day night, you could hear it in our growl. Intimidation on to keep their hearts racing. Eating other teams live on TV front of the nation. Spectacular defensive scheme.
This episode is available on the Jaguar Podcast YouTube channel. So if you stop by, make sure to subscribe and give this video a like. Also, these episodes are available on iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and other major podcast distributors as well. So if you don't mind, please leave me a review and some feedback. I'd really appreciate that. If you'd like to connect with me on social media, my Twitter handle is @JagwarPodcast. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. This is Andrew signing off. Cheers.